go down to select by element and the editable poly, select these guards again. Alright, let's bring them back down to where they belong. Go to the top of our editable poly, top of our skin modifier, and there we go. Okay, now we can go ahead and check this, grab a bone, motion panel, out of figure mode. Let's rotate this a little bit, and now you can see already that that shoulder guard is staying nice and stationary, which is what I think it should do. If you feel like it should be following the motion of the arm, then what you would have wanted to do is, instead of assigning a control to the clavicle, you want to give it 100% control by the upper arm. One way or another, these stiff things like this need to be 100% controlled by something. Things that are meant to be flexible should be flexible, but something like a guard like this, you want it to stay stiff. So you'd either assign it 100% control by the arm, which is going to make it always move with the arm, or go ahead and assign it to the clavicle where it'll just stay nice and stiff there like a guard. Matter of personal preference, however you like it. You'll play with your armor and see how you like it. You can sit here and shift this guy all over the place to see how it looks. Okay? Alright, that sets us with part 2. I'm going to give you part 3, which is going to get you into some final features and how to export and everything. Alright. Hello, welcome back to part 4. I said part 3, right? But actually the last part was a little long, so we had to split it 2 ways. Good old YouTube. Alright, so I've gone ahead and gotten back into figure mode here, and I've actually purposely introduced a few errors which are pretty common and that you're going to run into when you're doing your skinning. And I want to show you how you can recognize them and correct them. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into select by name. It's this tool up here, or just hit H, keyboard H. Come on. Okay, and there we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the root, okay, or sometimes it's called BIP01. What it is in the mesh, if I go into wireframe mode here, in the BIP skeleton you can see it's this little diamond in the middle here. If you're animating, that's the thing that you move when the whole mesh is going to go up, or when it's going to spin, or anything like that. For our purposes, we don't need to worry about that. Basically, it's the thing you have to select if you want to move the whole mesh at one time, which is what we want to do right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move this backwards. Look at what just happened. These vertices are staying there and not moving with the bones. They're not moving with the bones because I went ahead and isolated them. That is, I gave them no control by any bone, and this is what's often going to happen to your mesh, is that you're going to have something that's going to get missed by the skin modifier, and you're going to need to manually add it in there, or else it's going to deform like this. And when you load it into Fate, these vertices are actually going to stretch down to the feet, and they're not going to be under any control. It's going to look really weird. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom in here, select our mesh, go into our envelopes, and here we go. Let's go into the thigh, and there it is. Do you see that? You can see actually that the coloration goes to blue towards this point here, which is not selected at all. That means it's isolated, okay? Sometimes it'll be under the control of another vertex, or under the control of another bone, but we already know that's not the case because it was stretching like that. So we just select that, give it a value of 1, and there we go. Fixed, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and go to the other thigh. Left thigh here. Okay, and there we can see we have the same problem, okay, that this one is not selected. We can see the blue discoloration around it. It's blank. It means it's not selected. So here we go. We're going to give it a value of 1, and there we go. Go to the top of our mesh, go into H, select by name, okay, root, and zoom out so we can see the effect here. Let's move it. Oh, there we go. Now everything's moving with it just the way it should, which is what we want. And that's the quick and easy way to check and see if you have any isolated vertices as the last step before you're done. Okay, one other feature which is pretty popular is adding particle effects. I haven't seen any particle armors out there, but I did a little tutorial on it a while back. Adding particles is pretty easy. Let's go into back view. Okay, always with your mesh, it's got to be facing back, not front. If you have it face front, when you load it into Fate, it'll be on backwards, okay? So we want to go into back view. I've configured B to be my automatic back view button. B is normally bottom view, which I think is useless, since you have top view that you could just go to. So I have B, that would be back view. Anyway, so while we're in back view, we're going to add a point helper. Go over into the Create tab, Helpers, there we go. And then we're going to add a point. I have a quick button for it over here because I use it all the time, right? And then we just go ahead and click, add a point. Now actually all the other points that were hidden are coming out, so let's go ahead and get these out of here since we don't need these. Okay. Also this one on the head here, we can go ahead and hide that. Anything that you hide won't show up in your final scene when you export. Okay, let's now that we've got that, let's go ahead and rotate, take a look at it. Alright, what we got to do to make this a particle is go ahead and over here in its name, call it particle 01. Remember that glows aren't supported on weapons or items if they're equipped when you switch levels. It'll cause a weird crash, which pretty much means you shouldn't use them because people won't realize that they're not supposed to have them equipped because people don't like to read. So make sure it's particle and then some number, okay? And then go ahead and take this, and if we hold down shift and move it, we'll clone a new one, okay? Which makes this really fast, and it gives it the next number in a row. Actually, before we do that though, let's go ahead and right click on it, go to properties, okay? We're going to go over to the